and action.
Okay, so I just wanted to show you, Mia, a little bit of detail about your kit. So you've got a bag here with some pockets on the side so that everything's accessible, and there's a cardboard box inside the bag to make it more stable, so it's got a bottom to sit on. So the drawing kit includes your cartridge pad and a folder which you can fill up with notes from the online studio, so you can keep up with all your theory. And this is just a piece of cardboard that's got some baking paper on it, which is clipped on, and you can then use it as a palette, and then after you use it, just throw that away. It is, we've discovered, probably the cheapest way of having a palette for your acrylic paint. You can use plastic plates and other things, but don't go buying palettes because this is just cheap and easy and throw away. That's what that is. This I've made, I make it for all my students, it's a glass palette. So with your metal spatula that's in your brush kit, you can mix your unique colours, your tertiaries and secondaries and your tints and things, and put them in a little stay wet palette, which I'll talk about later. But then you can clean that off and you've always got this beautiful surface, and you can take every square inch of paint and not lose any. Whereas mixing on a plastic plate or another palette, people tend to lose a lot of paint that way because it dries so quickly. So that's your glass palette. Now, first of all, we'll put these paints in. These are your liquid acrylics. So they're light fast and they're liquid, and if you want to make them thick and heavy body, you can add this one. It's just a little sample for you to try, but if you want to buy this kind of thing, the 500ml pot is the more economical amount that you can mix together and make really thick paints to spread impasto techniques around. This one without the red dot is a little sample pot of modelling paste, which you would have used in the kids' classes. Yeah, so that's more for painting on, let it dry and then paint over. If you mix it with the paint, it'll make it tinted. Whereas this dries transparent, so that doesn't change the colour or the value of the paint at all. So that's what those two mediums are. In here we've got, stay on your bottom. In here we've got a gloss. This is like a travel kit. And I get them because they're a fantastic little mister bottle of water. So you can add retarder medium to slow down the drying of your paint, or you can just use water. In here you've got some matte liquid medium, which I'll get onto later. It's good if you want a matte surface on things, but it's also good when you're blocking in acrylics and you want to make sure you've got a completely matte surface and you want to finish in oils, which is something that I think you'll probably be interested in doing, and I've got some oils for you to try out. So this empty one can be used for anything you want. You may want to dilute that and make a satin mixture, that's gloss. So you can dilute it by about 20%, no more than that, but you get a satin finish on your paintings instead of gloss. So that's what that is. Bit of masking tape, doesn't normally go in the kits, but I thought you might like it. Your brush kit is a roll kind, and what I've done is put together a little bit of everything. So you've got your hog hair brushes, flats, rounds. They need to be rinsed first, they've got a bit of sizing in them. Then you've got your metal spatula to use on your glass palette. You can also use it as a painting palette knife, and you've got a plastic one. Over time, every single one of these things you might want to get different sizes or variations in them, but this is your basics. So you've got a priming brush, which is hog hair, and you've got a big soft tack-on brush, which is more for soft blending techniques and varnishing. These are your soft synthetic brushes. You've got a rubber sculpey tool. It's like for, we'll talk about that later, but you've got a fan brush. And you've got some detailers, so little pointers, couple of little pointers, and also a big long rigger. You haven't got a liner, but eventually you might want to build on that if you're doing a lot more detailed work, but this can be used as a liner. And so that's your basic brush kit, and if you want to build on it, you can start putting things here, and then you can still roll it up. Oh, hello. You can still roll it up like that and keep them in there, otherwise you can get a separate one and separate out your synthetics from your hog hairs. So basically this pack of screw jars, give that a little stop it from falling over. This pack of screw jars has got transparent pigment. Pretty expensive, but a little bit, you don't need very much of it because you're going to be glazing with that, either with the mediums or with water. So you've got a turquoise, a cool blue like a phthalo, a primary red, a red transparent oxide, and a yellow oxide, which is your only transparent yellow. So sometimes if you want to mix, say, a green or an orange or something, that will be the yellow you'd use if you want to keep it transparent
Yep.
for glazing. Now you've got a foam roller in case you want to get into that kind of thing. And eventually you want to get at home a whole stack of these, rip them off one by one, paper towel, fold them up and stick them in one of these pockets, and then
Yeah.
replenish those every now and then, because you can clean your, you can rub off, clean your palette, use it for drawing. There's a lot of purposes for them. These are extra scooping tools and mixing tools to be used instead of, you know, your spatulas if they're busy. And these are all just little screw jars that are fantastic instead of there's lots of different ways you can use a stay wet palette.
Yeah.
If you mix up a skin colour that
Yeah.
you're only going to use in a certain project, and you pop it in here and give it a spray mist out of that mister bottle, it stays for months and months and months.
Yeah.
If you only put a tiny thumbnail in there, the air around it will dry it out. So you've got to use the appropriate size so that it's reasonably full. That's what they're for. This is your drawing bundle, which has got the basics. Then you'll go building on this. So it's got a battery operated eraser that needs 2 AAAs,
Yeah.
and there's some refill erasers. It's got a paint pen. Normally it doesn't have, but I know you love paint pens, so I stuck a silver one in to get that end started. A kneadable eraser, a regular gum eraser. So you've got 3 kinds of eraser. You've got 2 blending stumps, tortillon or blending stump. And the reason that I've put 2 in is because you've got, I've got to find a sanguine one of these and a black. You've got charcoal, white and brown, but I'd like to give you a sanguine and black too. It was just a bit short in there while I was making it up. Here you've got all your graphites, HB, 2B, 4B, 6B, 8B and something in between. Another thing that I've put in for you is a waterproof ink technical pen, and down this end you may, if you get into ink and wash, you may want to get not waterproof ones. You may want to get a handle with nibs and a bottle of ink. And so if you get into ink and wash, you could have all kinds of, you can also get technical pencils that go in here, and you can get some more of these pastel pencils. This is just a watercolour pencil. You've got another one there. So they're very good, remember, for drawing on a lighter surface in acrylic, because it just washes off. And you can also use your white Conte on a dark surface for drawing in and washing off. There's a kneadable eraser for sponging off light areas, whereas if you want harder lines, you'd use your battery operated eraser or your gum eraser. So that's your basics, and you can build on that as you go along if you get very excited about drawing and adding some materials to that. That's it in a nutshell. Yes, you need to replenish that. There's also lots of extra storage areas, so you can build on this if you want to get other. So it's just a starter kit that's got a bit of everything, and we'll put these away, and that's it. Thank you. Thank you.